The Stanley Cup playoffs have been wildly unpredictable. We just saw the Boston Bruins, the best regular season team in NHL history, lose in the first round, and now the defending Stanley Cup champion Colorado Avalanche fall in 7 games to the Seattle Kraken in their first ever playoff appearance. The last time a Stanley Cup champion went on to lose in the first round the following season was not that long ago. After winning the 2019 Stanley Cup, the St. Louis Blues lost in the first round of the 2020 playoffs to the Vancouver Canucks. And then the year before that, the Washington Capitals lost in the first round to the Carolina Hurricanes after winning the Stanley Cup in 2018. So in the last 5 playoffs, including this year's, the defending Stanley Cup champion lost in the first round in 3 of them, with an honorable mention to the Tampa Bay Lightning, who just lost in the first round after 3 consecutive finals appearances. It's weird that this is starting to become pretty common, but I digress. Last year, Seattle ended the season with just 60 points, and while they did make some moves during free agency, I don't think many people expected them to make the playoffs this season. But not only did they make the playoffs, they had a 100-point season and have now advanced to the second round of the playoffs. In this series, the Colorado Avalanche scored 19 goals, and of those 19 goals, Mikko Rantanen scored almost half of them. McKinnon and Lehkonen each had 3, and then 5 other players had 1. Contrast that with the Seattle Kraken, who don't have a player with more than 2 goals in the playoffs so far, but had 15 different goal scorers in this series. And that's been a key part of Seattle's success this season, the fact that they can get scoring from basically anybody. While Jared McCann did have a 40-goal season, they still had 5 other players with at least 20, and a total of 13 different players with double-digit goals. And in these playoffs, even with Jared McCann out, and still missing Andre Burakovsky since February, the Kraken were able to play to their strengths to eliminate a Colorado team that was over-reliant on their top guys for offensive contributions. And even with that said, the Seattle Kraken would not have won this series if it wasn't for Philip Grubauer. Grubauer's first season with the Kraken was really bad, and this season wasn't much better, but in the playoffs, he went from an .895 save percentage to a .926. This is the best Grubauer has ever played since becoming a Seattle Kraken. The fact that they were able to make the playoffs and have a 100-point season with sub-900 goaltending is insane, but to me, their goaltending was going to prevent them from making any noise in the playoffs this year. But Philip Grubauer stepped up and played remarkably. That, coupled with the Kraken's ability to get scoring from basically any player, provided the perfect recipe for the Kraken to upset the defending Stanley Cup champions. And if Philip Grubauer can keep up the way he's been playing, the Dallas Stars are going to have some trouble in the second round.